Hey, it's Oops here, and it's time to praise N'Zoth for this Menagerie themed Shadow Priest deck. The big twist in this deck is minions generally fit into one of two categories. They either generate spells that you normally don't have access to in Shadow Priest, thus allowing you to enable the Light Maw Nether Drake, or they fall under the category of actually being targets for Amalgam of the Deep, thus allowing you to have access to a large pool of minions that you normally wouldn't want to run in a Shadow deck. This deck is honestly probably one of the decks that I'm most proud of in recent times, because it actually worked incredibly well. Across 20 games, I had a 60% win rate, and that was just insane. This solves all the issues that Shadow Priest currently has, where you don't have access to a lot of AoE clears that you might need in for some of the minion based matchups, and the Shadow hero power actually allows you to deal with a lot of early game minions that other priest decks might not normally be able to do. So let's go into the Mulligan guide. I'm basically going to separate this Mulligan guide into two categories: cards that are really good on their own and cards that are really good in combination with another card to keep in your opening hand. Iron Deep Trog is probably the only one cost card in this deck that you want to keep by itself, as it does serve as a really good turn 1 minion and can lock your opponent out of the game sometimes. Thrive in the Shadows is also a generally good card to keep in your opening hand, as it'll allow you to get into some of your key spells that are within your deck. Venomous Scorpid, Vulparian Scoundrel are always great cards to keep in your opening hand, as these allow you to generate the holy spells that you might not normally have access to. And finally, Devouring Plague is the last card that you would probably want to keep in your opening hand. For cards that you're going to want to be looking out for in combination, Defias Leper is really good if you can keep either Thrive in the Shadows or Devouring Plague in your opening hand. Handmaiden is usually always a good card to keep in your opening hand if you have some type of spell in your hand. The last major combo, which is a really funny combo to actually pull off and stolen from Silence Priest, Whispers in the Deep and Selfish Shellfish is really good to keep if you have both of them in your opening hand. Otherwise, you probably want to mulligan both of these away. And with that being said, let's look at some games. Okay, time to face Druid. Ooh, this hand is not looking that good. We're gonna mulligan away the Voyage, keeping the Amalgam of the Depths, but most of the time I really like to mulligan it away because I'd rather have it in the deck for the Gorlek Ravengers. Going to put down the Trog because this should stop most Druid decks, unless they do have Wrath in their hand, but it really just depends. It doesn't look like they do, so we're just going to get a free extra 1 damage. We can just use our hero power, ping the face, use the Trog, pass the turn back. Going to put down the Scorpid, see what we can actually get here. Going for the Shard of the Naru for 2 reasons. A, we can trade it into our deck. B, it is Druid, so they probably have some type of big minion that's going to have taunt, and we want to get rid of that as quickly as possible. They actually used a Starfish just on the Scorpid. That is kind of impressive. By kind of impressive, I mean kind of dumb. We can use Call of the Depths to see what we get here. Grabbing the Hexen is actually pretty good. Going to hero power and just go face. Again, if we can steal some of their minions so we don't actually have to deal with a taunt, that's better for us. Okay, so they're actually, I think there's some type of Druid deck people are calling like Aquatic Druid or something like that. That looks really fun to actually try to play. It's basically just token. Grabbing the Undying Disciple is going to be great for next turn. We do have the Devouring Plague to get rid of some of them here. We hit the Starfish. Of course we hit the Starfish. Well, we do have the Undying Disciple for next turn, so we're fine there, I guess. Okay, so they're actually going to attack into the Undying Disciple. Curious of what else they're going to do, since they can't technically kill it. Okay, so Nourish. As long as they don't have some type of taunt, we should be fine. Actually, I guess 2 taunts is what it requires for it not to be fine. You're going to ramp up a little bit here, which is fine. Okay, so they did get it real low. Going to get some more mana here, then pass the turn back. We can use the first leper to just do some face damage, and then the second one, and then just ping their face, doing or seeing what pirate we can actually generate here. A third leopard is really funny. How about a 4th one? Gangplank Diver is really good too. Not really a leper, but actually pretty decent if we top deck Mr. Smite, because that's 12 free damage whenever we do play Smite. And they're Druid, so they don't have really any AoE. Okay, Queen Azara. I'm assuming they're probably going to grab the spells. Either spells or Colossus minion. Colossus is a much lower pool, but I think the spells might be just generally better. Okay, so they are going for one of the Ancients, so they're getting a Colossus minion for 1. A little bit frustrating. Going to put down a Naga Giant, buff it up, gain 9 armor, and we're probably still just going to go face here. There's not enough damage on their board for me not to want to just go face, because we could also instantly steal the Naga Giant if we really feel like it, and we can just silence their board here too. Let's see what they actually get. And our top deck is Handmaiden, not bad. Going to grab Thrive in the Shadows off of Thrive in the Shadows. Grabbing the Void Shard, probably. Do 2 damage to the Matriarch. Attack into it, and then just go face. And probably ping their face also. Okay, so that's 3 damage to both of their minions. They still don't have an easy way to deal with our board, so that's a really good sign. We did how we did the turn last turn, mainly because of the Handmaiden that we drew into, so we can refill our hand pretty instantly. The Ravager only will draw into the second Ravager if we use it. Okay, they get an Ibis, and we can steal it. Steal it and then silence the other one. They put down another Naga Giant, which gets them 2 more. It's going to be a little bit frustrating to actually deal with. They can't go face. They really wanted to there, but they can't. Okay, now we steal their minion. And then silence their board. Then attack into one of their Nagas and heal up a little bit. Sure, we're going to lose Ibis before they actually can attack their face, but it doesn't really matter too much. We're in a pretty good position. We can refill our hand easily with the Handmaiden. Ooh, I miscalculated there. I didn't actually think they'd have enough damage to not attack into Ibis with the Naga. Oh well, you live and you learn. I don't know why they're attacking that. That seems like a little bit of a misplay. They could have just went face. Okay, let's see what they actually get here. Okay, so an entire board of 1/1s. A little bit frustrating, but we should be able to deal with it. They do kill our minion, which sucks, but oh well. We're probably just going to want to rush face. They did play most of their really big threats and big combos. I'm assuming if they run Kazakhstan, that's the last thing I'd have to worry about in the deck. But because of the nerf, I don't know if people are actually running him in Druid that much anymore. Void Shard, actually a really good top deck. We can draw 3 cards here. Smite is really good. We're going to play down the Diver and ping their face, and as long as they don't have a taunt, we win the game. Please don't have a taunt. That's all I'm asking for. Okay, they're going to kill our minion. I'm perfectly happy with them killing our minion. It means there's more space on my board if we really needed to top deck something else for more damage. But right now we have 16 damage. So we're in a really good position. As long as they don't have a Earth Scale or a taunt, we win. Okay, they're going to gain 2 more mana crystals. They already played Ibis, so I'm not really too worried about that. Okay, they're going to draw a card. They're looking for something. Okay, come on, just have no taunt. Okay, they're drawing 3 cards. And the turn gets passed to us, and we just win from here. It's time to smite them out of the game. Alright, time for a game against Mage. Probably going to be Mech Mage. It usually is. This opening hand actually isn't that bad. I might actually want to keep everything here. Might mulligan away the Leper, but the Scorpion is also not a bad option to mulligan away. Getting the second Leper with no shadow spell in our hand is kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. We do have the Trog just to instantly put down. I know Mech Mage doesn't really have that many spells in it, so this shouldn't matter too much, but they're going to put down a minion. Scoundrel is pretty decent to see. We're just going to go face. Going to force them to attack into the Trog if they want to get rid of it. We can use the Scoundrel next turn to maybe get a shadow spell, and for some weird reason, they actually decide to not attack into it. That's actually kind of funny. We can ping the Mecha Shark, because I don't want to deal with that, and then just kill it. I guess that makes sense why they wouldn't attack into it if they knew that was going to come up. Okay, so we need a Holy Spell and a Shadow Spell. I'm going to see what we get here. Grabbing Flash of Light probably is the best option, or Mystery Choice. Getting a Holy Smite, which is actually pretty decent. Flash of Light probably would have been the better option, just a little bit less RNG, but we basically need to top deck any type of Shadow Spell. We have 8, I think, in the deck, so we should have a pretty high chance of doing that. Or we top deck something that can generate us a Shadow Spell. That's actually pretty decent too. They can't do enough damage to kill us in one turn, can they? Grabbing the Shadow Word Ruin just to grab it, and then go face with our hero power, or just use it on a minion instead, and the next turn we can just nuke their board. Come on, overextend. No, you want to. No one expects the Light Maw Nether Drake in Shadow Priest, so why play around it if you don't have to, right? There was a really funny game where I generated a whirlpool and wiped out their entire board, which was actually pretty cool. Okay, we do have enough mana to wipe their board again next turn, depending on what they actually play down. If we want to use a Selfish plus a Thrive in the Shadows. But we're going to just use Holy Smite here, and then just probably go face. Oh, Xakis might be really funny, but Fairy Drake is probably the better option, just because they can't target it, and then we can just put it down. Might not have wanted to kill the 1/1, but oh well. They put down another Deep Run Engineer. Okay, another Mecha Shark, which is annoying to see how many they can actually generate back to back to back. Okay, it's all going to hit face. We need some way to heal up here. Going to use Thrive in the Shadows, grabbing Whispers in the Deep. This should get rid of most of their minions. We're probably going to attack into that first, and then get rid of their 2 minions, and then just go face. We're basically in a battle of who can hit their face harder, and so far we're winning. Ooh, that is not something I wanted to see. Though we do have the Shadow Word Ruin to actually instantly kill it, depending on what they actually do here. Okay, so they can't kill our Shellfish yet. We can go face, kill their minion, generate something here. Oh, hey, Whirlpool. Whirlpool is actually really funny. We are a little bit behind on board presence, so choosing the Whirlpool actually is probably a good decision, especially because we don't have much overlap between the two decks. Okay, they play Seafloor Gateway. Come on, don't play around Whirlpool. Who the hell would play around it, right? We're gonna also have to make the tough decision if we want to just nuke 2 things on the board or wait additional turns. We don't sadly have the Shadow Spell to trigger the Defias Lepers. Oh, we do now. We can just go face, use Whirlpool, instantly get rid of 3 minions that are really common in their deck. Though we did get rid of the Scoundrel, which is kind of sad. And we should just win next turn with a Void Shard and Hero Power. Oh, that's actually kind of a shock. Generating 3 of those off of the same mech. That's really frustrating if we weren't winning the game this turn. Okay, time to face Warrior. Let's embrace the Void and win out this game. We're going to keep Thrive in the Shadows and the Scoundrel just because those are really good cards to keep in our open hand. Getting the Defias Leper is actually really good, especially because we do have Thrive in the Shadows in our hand. Okay, Devouring Plague, not a bad card, especially because it's probably either Control or Pirate Warrior. If it's Pirate Warrior, that's going to be a little bit more annoying, but we can still deal with it. We are an aggro-based deck. I'd rather face that than Control Warrior, to be honest. Okay, so they are questline. We're going to play down the Leper just to put a body down on the board. And it does 2 damage, so it's basically a better hero power right now. Okay, they have a Scramp, which we're going to instantly kill with our hero power, I think, this turn. Smite isn't something that I want to see yet, but it is what it is. Okay, they're probably going to kill our leper, and they sadly do. It's fine, we got enough damage out of it, and we top decked the second one. We're just going to use the second one, and then in the face again. They're going to kill it with a freebooter, which is a bit annoying, but we can still deal with this. We do have enough mana to just clear out their board next turn, but we might want to use the scoundrel just to generate some type of spell. It depends on what we actually top deck here too. A second devouring plague. Probably should have used our hero power first, because that could have really backfired. We're just going to ping their face. Who needs to be mage to ping their face when you can be a shadow priest? Okay, they have the second trident and the second amalgam. We can actually clear those out too with the second devouring plague. Shellfish is actually pretty good, especially because that allows us to clear out the board with Whispers of the Deep. And since they're questline warrior, I very much doubt that they have anything to actually instantly kill our minion. Even if they have a Shiver Me Timbers, or Shiver Me Them Timbers, or whatever the hell it's called, they're still going to have to attack into it, and they do. This actually puts us in an incredibly good position. They're going to armor up. We can't kill them this turn, but we do have the scoundrel to see what we actually get here. Void Shard is really good. And then I think next turn we should have lethal, depending if they can actually gain armor or not. Okay, they do gain a little bit of armor, so we won't have lethal yet. We probably can just hero power and use Thrive in the Shadows, I think, next turn. Try to get a Void Shard out of the deck. Call of the Graves. We can see what we get here. Loot Hoarder's fine. Scorpid is fine also. Going to grab Bless, mainly because it's a holy spell, plus we can turn our Scorpid into a 3/3. We're going to ping their minion and then just pass turn back. Getting the Void Shard off of the Thrive in the Shadows is really good, because what we have 5 damage on board right now. We have Smite in hand and a Void Shard, which is 15 points of damage, which isn't bad. Well, that's a little bit annoying. Okay, second Thrive in the Shadows. We're going to instantly kill the Cannoneer because we might as well. Then we can just ping face and then use the Void Shard to heal up a little bit more. That's probably the safest bet that we could have actually had here. Okay, they have a Gangplank Diver, which doesn't actually do anything for them right now. We basically need some type of additional pirate with Smite, and we should just win the game. Actually, we don't even need that. We should be able to just hero power and be fine. Oh, actually, I guess we need 1 more damage. Come on, top deck of the century. Now, that's actually a pretty good top deck. And we do get the third Void Shard. Just gonna use the Void Shard instantly, put down the minion. Hopefully we have enough HP where it shouldn't really matter too much what they have. The only way they win this game is by having the Colossus minion for warrior, and it doesn't look like they do, so we should just win here. It's finally time for warrior to get a taste of their own medicine. Mr. Smite for game. Actually, we can just see what we generate here. Draw in our card, might as well, and then go Mr. Smite. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. So overall, this deck actually performed incredibly well. As I said before, it had a 60% win rate across 20 games and actually got me back into Diamond, which is something that I didn't actually expect out of a deck like this. It does solve a lot of the issues that Shadow Priest currently does have, where you don't have any access to AoE board clears or ways to refill your hand. This deck solves both of those issues by having a bunch of different types of draw power and a bunch of ways to generate late game threats that you might normally not have because you're playing a more aggro based deck. And honestly, this is probably the deck I can most easily recommend someone actually trying out. It's a lot of fun, really unique, and no one's expecting something like this out of Priest currently. And like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye bye.